Word, 2 or 3 witnesses so it can be confirmed. To you, my Yadu, I lift up my soul. And trusting you, he always kept me whole. And left my enemies deep in their holes. Let none that wait on Yahweh be ashamed. Put shame on those who sin without a cause. Show me your ways, please teach me your laws. Oh Elohim of my salvation, I'm staying down and patient. As a child, all the while I'm waiting. Remember not the sins of my youth. Lead me in your truth, and he'll give your soul ease. The earth shall remain inherited by a seed. The secret of YAHWEH who fears Elohim. A fool believes everything, and to every word spoken. You can't take heed unless you hear somebody curse. You know you did the same thing. That's why I'm begging Yah for mercy and His love and kindness, cause I know that I ain't worthy.
Scattered across the 7 seas, captivity is taking hold upon me. Put fright in me, and now we flee from fallen leaves. The clotted grief from all the blood our people seen, and now we cry, where is the word from Elohim? And so we said that we are His wives to be submissive, but we dismissed it. It is of this reason we have fallen victim to the lies that your root will prey and pursue. Rebellious of His Son, forgotten that He is one. Broken the holy ordinance, rejection of reproof. Then acknowledge what we do. Now we return back to the truth.
Yah's word is the truth. Yah's decrees is the proof. Local 12 just released the scoop. It's the summer of Sam. They calling His hand. Made us worship the Son of Man. And somehow that the moon, they stole our style and gave it to Rothschild. Now we exalt the vow, but hit the turnstile. Yah's Nabi set the crooked things straight. Praise Yah from the rising to the evening to the closing the gates. Exposing the fake. Yah give the truth a daybreak. Now the liars can't escape, and the haters can't relate to the light the truth make. See the wicked's pride deflate. Ye adore Yah, magnify Yah, cause He's great.
All Yah give is truth. All Yah teach is truth. All Yah bring is truth. Nothing but the 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 truth.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. For Yahweh is righteous, Yahweh is holy, and let Yahweh be magnified. Shalom, shalom. I am Moray Naphtali, here with you once again, bringing you nothing but the truth. The true, unadulterated words of Yahweh. And it is a great blessing, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and most definitely a pleasure to be awarded this great opportunity to indulge in even this sacrifice of righteousness. This sacrifice is called the sacrifice of the knowledge of Elohim. And so I'm very pleased that Yahweh has given me this opportunity, and I praise Yahweh for it, and I praise Yahweh for all those that's indulging with me in this great sacrifice as well this evening. Praise the mighty Yah. This evening's program is titled Yahweh's Handmaid, Part 2. And for those of you all that didn't get to hear Part 1 yesterday, it's okay. Yahweh has blessed us to be able to have these platforms and media outlets, and you can go back and listen. But we are trying to send the message to the people about Yahweh's Handmaid. For in the book of Psalms, 116th chapter, look what it reads. I'm going to begin reading in the 12th verse. What shall I render unto Yahweh for all his benefits towards me? What shall I give Yahweh back? What should I reciprocate unto the Almighty for all his benefit to me? For all his care and love and kindness that he's done for me, for all the times that he has saved me. Although I put myself in terrible predicaments, although I've destroyed my health, although my iniquities and my own foolishness weighs heavy down on me, but Yahweh has seen fit to bring me up. What should I render back to him? It says, this brother said, I will take the cup of salvation. I'm going to take that cup and call upon the name of Yah. This is what I'm going to do for my Yah. I'm going to take the cup of salvation and all the responsibilities that come with it, and I'm going to call on the name of Yah. It ain't no way I'm going to call on it in vain. I'm going to call on his name because I'm his servant. I will pay my vows unto Yahweh, now in the presence of all his people. And you might not know the vows that he's making, but you can see him being paid because he's right in your presence. And you can see him working. You can see him rendering. You can see him giving to the Almighty his life, his time, his servitude, his substance. It says, precious in the sight of Yahweh is the death of his saints. O Yahweh, truly, I am thy servant. I am your servant and the son of thy handmaid. Thou hast loosed my bonds. I'm your servant. I'm your servant. He said that twice. And then he went a third time and said, I am the son of your handmaid. Thou hast loosed my bonds. I will offer to thee the sacrifice of thanksgiving, and will call upon the name of Yah. I will pay my vows unto Yah now in the presence of all his people, in the courts of Yahweh's house. In the midst of thee, O Jerusalem, praise ye Yah. So he said not only he is Yahweh's servant, but he is even the son of Yahweh's handmaid. And yes, if you was listening last night, I pointed out to you a few testimonies that Yahweh shined before me and inspired me to show you these handmaids in the scriptures. For it is a truth that these brothers, these sisters, they knew that Yahweh had, and they know that Yahweh has a handmaid. What king don't have a handmaid? And we here to say that Yahweh doesn't have a handmaid? Oh, yes, he do. But Yahweh wants you to see the testimonies of the handmaids that's upon earth before you can understand his handmaid that dwelleth in the heavens. And I showed you all in the book of 1 Kings, there was 2 handmaids in 1 Kings, the 4th chapter. You'll read about 2 handmaids, and when they spoke, it's the language of these women in the scriptures, these great women. Matter of fact, in 1 Kings, the 4th chapter, and I won't tarry too long there, but just to read 2 verses here. 1 Kings, the 4th chapter. For those that didn't get it last night or see this, 1 Kings, it's 2 Kings, the 4th chapter. The first 7 verses you will read about this woman whose husband, it tells you in the first verse, now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets unto Elisha. So she was a wife of a prophet, saying, thy servant, my husband, is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear Yah. You know he feared the Almighty Yah. And she made this proclamation before one of the strongest prophets you will read in these scriptures. And she made this proclamation because she knows, as well as Elisha knew, that yes, your husband did fear Yah. And how do you know he feared Yah? Because why? You are his wife and you fear Yah. See, a lot of Yah-fearing men, they might have a wife that don't even know, that don't fear Yah. And when you don't fear Yah, you don't possess understanding. You don't possess wisdom. So how you going to know if your husband fears the Almighty Yah? The only way that you know anybody fears Yah is if you fear Yahweh yourself. And look what she says. Thy servant, my husband, is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear Yah, and the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons to be bondmen. Elisha said unto her, what shall I do for thee? Why? Because he know everything she's saying is the truth. Her husband feared Yah, and he know that she fears Yah, and that's why he's like, hey, what can I do for you? Elisha said unto her, what shall I do for you? Tell me, what hast thou in thy house? And she said, thine handmaid. Always letting that go before her. These is how the handmaids on earth. This is the spirit of these daughters. She's the wife of a prophet, and she definitely feared the Almighty Yah. For this is how it looks when Yahweh sees Yah-fearing sons and daughters. Thy handmaid has not anything in the house save a pot of oil. And we know the rest of the story. That one little pot of oil turned into a house full of pots of oil. Because this is a Yah-fearing daughter. And Yahweh wasn't going to leave her forsaken. There is no telling and why Yahweh took her husband. But we know that her husband is with him. And he has another calling. He has another place to be. But Yahweh didn't leave this Yah-fearing woman forsaken. And sent a Yah-fearing servant to deliver her. And then skip to the 8th verse. And like I said, she called herself a handmaid. Thy handmaid. And that's something to pay attention to, because Yahweh has a handmaid. He has one. And all the handmaids, if Yahweh has a handmaid, you know this handmaid must be at the pinnacle of handmaids. This handmaid, that if she's Yah's handmaid, she has to be exemplary. We get to know and really know who she is. That's someone, that's a woman that all the daughters on earth should be looking at daily. Watching at her gates. Where is she? What is she doing? Because I don't know what you've done to get in a place to be Yahweh's handmaid. But whatever you've done, I need to learn it. And these daughters obviously trying to learn it, because why would they call themselves handmaids? Listen, in the 8th verse, it says, and it fell on a day that Elisha passed to Shunem, where was a great woman. And that's why I love about Yah's book. When you get into the Christian book, where their religion is based, and they will tell you that the old book, the old so-called Old Testament, is done away with. You don't need to even concern yourself with that part of the book. That part of the book was buried with Christ. Now we are in this new dispensation. We're under a new covenant by the way of the New Testament. And when you get into the New Testament and read the book, it will minimize women. It will belittle them. It will spell out things that will make you think a woman is of very little value. One of the statutes of the New Testament in the Christian book reads that a woman is she's not allowed to even speak in the churches, the temples, the sanctuary. She's not even to speak. Don't ask no questions. Don't even praise the Almighty. Don't say amen, hallelujah. Don't even speak, not even a mumbling word. And this is the kind of treatment you will see in these religions, like the Islam religion, where women are treated in a very insignificant, belittling magnitude. They have to stay fully covered up. And when you look at their laws, the men are allowed to beat their wives. None of these things you will get away with in Yah's book. In Yahweh's book, you got great women like the one we read now. And what was great about her? Was she a queen? No. Was she a prophet? No. Was she a teacher, a minister, a morah? No. She just a great woman. And it says, and she constrained him. This man, Elisha, she constrained him to eat bread. So he was, that as oft as he passed by, he turned in thither to eat bread. And so I just wanted to show you that this book has great women. And these great women, even this great woman, when you read her story, she says in the 16th verse, he said about this season, according to the time of life, thou shalt embrace a son. And she said, nay, my master, thou man of Elohim, do not lie unto thy handmaid. And as great as she was, and still is, according to the testimony written in these scriptures, she held herself as a handmaid. And why? What is this handmaid? Well, I'm telling you, my sisters, this handmaid is one that Yahweh want his daughters to get very acquainted with. And why he want his daughters to get very acquainted with this handmaid is because the daughters have a great responsibility in this earth. This is why it makes no sense that these religions are belittling our women and making our women insignificant. And that the men is the only ones that can have a point and an idea and a say. When you look in the scriptures, our men respected their wives. They respected their daughters. We have laws that you couldn't even call a daughter of the Almighty out of her name. If you spoke and called a daughter of Yah a whore, you had to prove it. Well, prove it. Since you loose with your lips and you put things out there, prove it now. And if you can't prove it, you was lashed. Go with me to the book of Jeremiah, the 6th chapter, the 16th verse. Yahweh's handmaid, what these brothers are talking about in Psalms 86, verse 16, Psalms 116, verse 16, they said, I'm your servant, even the son of thine handmaid. And I want you, no, Yahweh want you to get acquainted with his handmaid. He wants you to know his handmaid. And not just you daughters, even you sons. He wants you to know his handmaid. Know his handmaid. Like these brothers in the scriptures did, they said, I'm even a son. I'm one of thy handmaid sons. Look what it says in Jeremiah 6, verse 16. It says, thus says Yahweh, stand ye in the ways. There's some ways that you need to stand in that you're not standing in this day. You're not standing in that way. And Yahweh saying, I want you to stand in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. The old paths. Because this new ideology, this new frame of mind, this new spirit, this new wave is not good. Look what it says. As for the old paths, where is the good way? Did that say where was the good way? No. It says where is the good way? Because that's where it still is. It's still in the old. And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. Ain't no way I'm about to. That was the old time. We living in different times now. These are different times. But Yahweh is not different. Yahweh is the ancient of days, and still to this very day, he hasn't changed. And since he hasn't changed, ain't no sense that anybody need to change when he said that the old path is where the good way is. It says, also I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. And they're not going to hearken. And also look at Isaiah 28. And then we're going to show you the inspiration of Yahweh's handmaid. Because obviously and truly, Yahweh's handmaid, her spirit has moved through this earth and inspired a lot of daughters on this earth. And we're going to show you some testimonies before we actually get to the handmaid. You still got to see more testimonies. Testimonies that if you open up your eyes and your ears, they will blow your mind. Because the way that these women stand in, it's a way that's it's so good. You can't even understand it unless you start standing in it. Look what it says in the book of Isaiah 28. We're going to start at verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk, drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept. Precept must be upon precept. I can't just take you to show you y'all's handmaid. I got to show you those that are inspired on this earth, and they are handmaids. Line upon line, here a little and there a little, for with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people, to whom he said, this is the rest. See, if they begin to stand in his way and see and ask for the old paths, this is when they're going to have rest. And this is the refreshing, yet they will not hear. And it's unfortunate that you're not hearing me. It's unfortunate that you didn't hear the program last night. It's unfortunate you're not hearing it. And most of us didn't hear it. But all I'm here to do, and all Yahweh's servants here to do, is speak Yahweh's word. But we refuse to hear. But the word of Yah was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall back and be broken, snared and taken, scornful men, that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. So, as we were showing you last night, these two great women in the book of 2 Kings, these handmaids that feared the Almighty. We showed you Hannah, this great woman who her husband obviously was a servant of the Almighty, but she was a daughter and she called herself a handmaid. She feared the Almighty, and Yahweh blessed her, and the son of this woman was this great prophet named Samuel. And that's what she called herself when she spoke in the third person. I'm thine handmaid. And when she showed herself, the scripture showed she was a Yah-fearing woman. She made a vow unto the Almighty, and she kept that vow. A hard vow to keep as well. It takes diligence, sincerity, to sorrow and cry after a son, and then you're given a son, and that's all you have, and then you give him up to Yah. And now all you get to do is see him as 3 times a year when you go up to make your sacrifices. And he's still young. And she did it, and she rejoiced in it because she feared Yah. We showed you Sarah and how she gave her handmaid. And the testimony of Sarah and her handmaid, and this handmaid was just a handmaid. It wasn't the wife of Abraham. What makes a woman a handmaid is not that she's a wife. A handmaid is one that is a part of a household in servitude. She serves in this house, and she's a part of that house. She wakes up and she goes to sleep in that same house, and she's serving in that house. She's the extra hand in that house, whether it's to her master, which is the man, or whether it's to her mistress, which is the woman. And can a handmaid become heir to her mistress? Yes, which means she becomes a wife as well. But when she becomes a wife, it still don't change that you're still a handmaid unto your mistress. And this is what Hagar forgot. This is what Hagar neglected. And the reason why she neglected this is because the proof is in the pudding. And at the end of the day, you're going to see the truth. In the end of the day with Hagar, the truth is that she's not a Yah-fearing handmaid. Many daughters have done virtuously, and you can't be a handmaid unless you have virtues and you know how to put your hand to the spindle and you know how to make yourself useful. Many daughters done virtuously. All the daughters in the old days called themselves handmaids. But which one of these handmaids fear Yah? Like this one in the book of Ruth. In the book of Ruth, you're going to see two different handmaids. You're going to see one that has a spirit like the two great women in 2 Kings, the 4th chapter. And then you're going to see one that has a spirit a little closer to Hagar. And we're going to go to the book of Ruth, the 1st chapter. In the book of Ruth, the 1st chapter, look what this says. And this woman, the book of Ruth, we all know that Ruth was a Moabite. She was a Moabite, not even an Israelite daughter. Not even an Israelite daughter. But yet here it is. Yahweh said that in the book of Isaiah, the 56th chapter, he said that those, even the stranger, don't even let the stranger say he's utterly cut off from me. For even the stranger, the eunuch, even the sons of strangers that join themselves to me, keep my Sabbaths and my covenants and choose the things that please me and love my name and fear me, I will give them even a name in my house. I will give them a place with me. A name that's even better than one of my own sons and daughters. And here it is. This woman, which is a Moabite, is a shining example that Yahweh wasn't playing. Because ask yourself, you one of Yah's daughter. You one of Yah's daughters, but is your name in his book as a shining light of righteousness? Will your name be in his book as a shining light of righteousness? Well, it's to be seen. But as right now, this woman, her name, the Moabite, is in Yah's book. And it's the only way she can get to this place. She had to fear Yahweh. There's no way you can get here. And that's what we're looking at. Handmaids that fear Yah and the ones that don't. But look what it says. First verse, now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Yehudah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife, and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Mahlon and Chilon, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Yehudah. And they came into the country of Moab and continued there. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left and her 2 sons. And they took them wives of the women of Moab, these Moabite women. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other was Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years. And these are the 2 women that you're going to see. You got Ruth and you got Orpah. Both Moabites. Both same backgrounds. They're sisters. And look what it says. And Mahlon and Chilon died also, both of them. And the woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the country of Moab how that Yahweh had visited his people and given them bread. So it seemed like the famine is over. And then it says, wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her, and they went on the way to return to the land of Yehudah. But it's something peculiar happened here. In the 8th verse it says, and Naomi said unto her 2 daughters-in-law, go, return each to her mother's house. Yahweh deal kindly with you, as ye have dealt with the dead and with me. So obviously these 2 women were very virtuous women, because many daughters have done virtuously. They was very virtuous, both of them. And she blessed them in the name of Yah. She said, Yah deal kindly with you. And the reason why, because you have dealt kindly with me, and you have dealt kindly. You done showed all kind of mercy, not only to my sons and their life, but you done showed the kindness in their death. And so I bless you all in Yah's name. So now go your way. And look what happens. Yahweh grant you that ye may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept. She blessed them. And I'm sure that Yahweh was going to answer this blessing, because Yahweh said he confirmeth the words of his servants. And look what it says. And they said unto her, surely we will return with thee unto thy people. And Naomi said, turn again, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? Turn again, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have an husband. And if I should say I have hope, if I should have an husband also tonight, and should I also bear sons? Will ye tarry for them till they were grown? Would you stay for them from having husbands? Nay, that don't make sense, my daughters. My daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes, that the hand of Yahweh is gone out against me. The hand of Yah is gone out against me. I don't know why, but something is going on, and ain't no sense you sticking around. And they lifted up their voice and wept again, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. You see the difference? 2 virtuous women. Both of them good women. But one, in her mind, said, you're right. At the end of the day, why am I going to stay with you? You too old. You just broke it all the way down for me. And you're right. I may as well kiss you, cry, and get it over with, and go on about my way. But then you got one that the counsel wasn't sound. It says, Ruth clave unto Naomi. And she said, behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people. She's gone now. Won't she was the first fraud to leave. Now go with your sister. And unto her gods. And see, there it is. She's gone back to her people. And when you go back to your people, you're going to be with your people. You're going to be amongst your people, and you're going to serve their gods. Ain't no sense of going back serving Yah, because they ain't serving Yahweh there. And what I want to go back home for is serving Yah and ostracize myself. They going to ostracize me. Ain't none of the men going to want me. I'm going to be a laughing block on the streets. If I want Yah, I might as well stay with Naomi. But if I'm going back with my people, I got to be with my people. And I got to serve their gods. And I got to go to church when they go to church and do the thing how they do their thing. She said, go on back unto her people and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law. And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee. Don't keep telling me to leave you. I'm not leaving you. She says, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy Elohim is going to be my Elohim. And as the saying goes, if there's a will, there is a way. And this woman she was willing to stay with Naomi. And the word willing means you desire to do it. You want to do it. You must do it. Nobody had to ask you and pull you. And her will was, I'm going with you. Your people going to be mine, and your Elohim is going to be my Elohim. Do you see the difference? Look what it says. Excuse me. Where thou diest will I die, and there will I be buried. And look what she says. Yahweh do so to me. She's saying Yah's name. She believes in Yah. She's cleaving on to Yah through this daughter of Yah, which is Naomi. Yahweh do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me. Because this woman got a spirit on her, and she believes in Yahweh. She don't want to let go of Yahweh. Therefore, she don't want to let go of Naomi. If I'm going to be a part of Yah, I must be a part of his people. And so ain't no way I'm letting Yahweh go, and therefore I'm not letting you go. So they two went until they came to Bethlehem. Because Naomi got the point now. This girl ain't going nowhere. She believes in Yah. She want to serve Yah. And why should I stand in the way? Because she's a Moabite? No. I know Yahweh is too merciful. And Yahweh will accept any Moabite or any stranger into his house that loves him and will fight to serve him. So they two went until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass when they were come to Bethlehem that all the city was moved about them. And they said, is this Naomi? And she said unto them, call me not Naomi, call me Marah. For the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. And that's what they called the waters that was bitter when they left out of Egypt and got to the waters, and they thought they had something to drink, and it was bitter. But listen, this woman Ruth, in the 2nd chapter, let's look what it says. In the 8th verse of Ruth, the 2nd chapter, then said Boaz unto Ruth, hearest thou not, my daughter? Go not to glean in another field, neither go from hence, but abide here fast by my maidens. Let thy eyes be on a field that they do reap, and go thou after them. Have I not charged the young men that they shall not touch thee? And when thou art athirst, go unto the vessels, and drink of that which the young men have drawn. Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground and said unto him, Why have I found grace in your eyes, that thou shouldest take knowledge of me, seeing I'm a stranger? And Boaz answered and said unto her, It has been fully shown to me all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thine husband, and how thou hast left your father and your mother and the land of thy nativity, and art come unto a people which thou knowest not heretofore. You done forsaken your whole nation to be a part of the children of Israel. Yahweh recompense your work, all the work you've done. And this is what handmaids do. Servants, and we talking about handmaids tonight. This is what they do. Yahweh recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of Yahweh Elohim of Israel. So he knew, man, Yahweh's blessing you. And I would be a fool not to bless you. Since you came in this city has been in awe. Because it's rare to see an individual forsake their own people, forsake their own God, to be with another people, and this people's Elohim. That's rare to see this. This is some kind of wonder. This is astonishing. And this woman was just a little docile handmaid that just wanted to serve the Almighty and be with his people. And look, it says, a full reward be given thee of Yahweh Elohim of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to trust. Everybody, you done come to trust Yah. Then she said, let me find favor in thy sight, my master, for that thou hast comforted me, and for that thou hast spoken friendly unto thy handmaid. See how they talk? See how these great women talk, the kind of spirit of thy handmaid. Though I be not like unto one of thy handmaidens. I understand that. And Boaz said unto her, at mealtime come thou hither, and eat the bread, and dip thy morsel in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers, and he reached her parched corn, and she did eat, and was sufficed and left. And so this woman was blessed by the Almighty Yah. And look what it says in the 3rd chapter. And actually, you want to read this 20th, the 19th and 20th verse first. It says, and her mother-in-law said unto her, where hast thou gleaned today? And where wroughtest thou? Where you been at? You done came back with all of this. Blessed be he that did take knowledge of thee, and she showed her mother-in-law with whom she had wrought, and said, the man's name with whom I wrought today is Boaz. And Naomi said unto her daughter-in-law, blessed be he of Yahweh, who have not left of his kindness to the living and to the dead. Soon as she heard that name, Yah's kindness is still to the living and to the dead. The man is near of kin unto us, one of our next kinsmen. And if you was listening to our program last night, we showed you the law of the next kinsman. When 2 brothers and one died, not bearing a seed with his wife that he's married to, that the brother is supposed to come along and do the law of the next kinsman with her. And in this law, he's supposed to take her to wife and have a seed with her, and that firstborn son, let's read it. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 25th chapter, this is how you know this is a Yah-fearing woman. Deuteronomy 25, verse 5, it reads, if brethren dwell together and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her and take her to him to wife and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. And so it has to be a near kinsman, a brother. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead. And now this dead brother has kindness from the Almighty, that his name will still flourish in this earth, and not only his name, but his spirit. Because the name is going to come with a spirit. This is why when Yahweh gave us his name, he gave us a spirit. That's why there's no other people like the children of Israel on the face of the earth. And so, yes, this son, the firstborn, because now she can have more children and they will be his, but that firstborn will be the son of the dead brother. He will live on in his name and his spirit. And next thing you know, you see him, you're like, man, he remind me of him. Yes, he do, because Yahweh has blessed this boy to be the one that would live on for that dead brother. And so Yahweh has put a name and spirit upon him. And so this is the law that they were carrying out. But look what it says in the book of Ruth. Because now it's like, hey, now they done found out Ruth ain't even know it until she went and told Naomi that this man Boaz has been showing me favor. And she said, my good Boaz, man, Yahweh is righteous. This is the next kin to my dead son. And her mind is automatically like, man, now a man child, not only you get a husband, but I'm going to get a son that's going to raise up in my dead son's name. Now look what it says in the 20. Let's go to the meat of the matter in the 3rd chapter. Look what it says. Naomi gave her all kind of counsel, and Ruth did every last bit of it to a T. Didn't ask no questions or nothing. And long story short, she told her how to get in good with Boaz and become his wife. And look what it says. In the 8th verse of Ruth, the 3rd chapter, it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself. And behold, a woman lay at his feet. And see, the righteous women in these scriptures had some peculiar relationship with feet. They had a peculiar language of calling themselves a handmaid in the 3rd person. Women today, they trying to get a man, they might just hop up in the bed with him, put their legs all on them and grab all over their neck and private areas. But no, she just laid at his feet. And he said, who art thou? And she answered, I'm Ruth, thine handmaid. That's all I am. I'm just a servant. I'm just a woman ready to serve. I'm thy handmaid. What do you need? Are you thirsty? Therefore thy skirt, spread therefore thy skirt over thine handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman. And he said, blessed be thou of Yahweh, my daughter, for thou hast showed more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning. And why? Because at the beginning she showed kindness to Naomi, refused to leave her, stayed by her side serving her, because this is an old woman. She showed kindness to Naomi's dead sons, her husband. She showed nothing but kindness in that time. And now even at the end, she's showing more kindness. She was around all these young men. He even put her with the young men. Said, stay with these young men. But I done told them not to touch you. But stay with them. And she could have caught eye for any one of them. But look what it says. You done been more kind even in your latter end than at the beginning. And so much as thou followest not the young men, whether poor or rich. You could have got one of these young men, but you're coming to me just to keep the law of the next kinsman? And now, my daughter, fear not. I will do to thee all that thou requires. For all the city of my people does know that thou art a virtuous woman. And there's many women that has done virtuously. There's many handmaids. The daughters back in the old days was raised to be handmaids. But then you have one that excels them all. And that's the one that fears Yah. See, Ruth's sister, she was a handmaid. And she probably was a very good one. But she didn't fear Yah. Because if she did, she would have stayed with Naomi. She would have never left Naomi. And she would have did the same thing Ruth did. Your people is mine and your Elohim is mine. Please don't entreat me no more to go nowhere else. And if I do leave you, let Yahweh do more than death to me. Only death is going to do us part. Where you are buried, I'm going to be buried. Where you lay, I'm going to lay, period. Man, that's quite powerful. And look what it says. And this man was righteous enough and said, well, it's one that really comes before me, so let's give him the opportunity to keep the law. And so we go over to the 4th chapter of Ruth. And look what it says. In the 8th verse, therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe. Because when you don't keep the law of the next kinsman, take your shoes off. You the man with the loose shoe. You get spit in your face. You refuse to raise up a name for your dead brother. It's a shame. Take your shoes off. And then in the 9th verse says, and Boaz said unto the elders, and unto all the people, ye are witnesses this day, that I have bought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was Shilon and Mahlon's, and of the hand of Naomi, I bought it of her hand. Moreover, Ruth, the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day. And all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. Yahweh make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah. Yeah, Rachel and Leah. We're going to go to them next. Make them like Rachel and Leah, which two did build the house of Israel. And do thou worthily in Ephratah, and be famous in Bethlehem. And let thy house be like the house of Pharez, whom Tamar bare unto Yehudah. Of the seed which Yahweh shall give thee of this young woman. Hallelujah. And watch this. So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went in unto her, Yahweh gave her conception, and she bare a son. And the women said unto Naomi, blessed be Yahweh, which has not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel. And he shall be unto thee a restorer of your life, a nourisher of thine old age. And they say old women with grandbabies, they live longer. But listen, a nourisher of thine old age. For thy daughter-in-law, which loveth thee, which is better to thee than 7 sons, has borne him. And Naomi took the child and laid it in her bosom and became nurse to it. See, she didn't have a spirit like Hagar. But now you've been cool all up to this time, and now since you done bear a son, now you acting funny. No. This handmaid right here was a Yah-fearing handmaid. Obviously, the spirit of Yahweh's handmaid in the heavens has rested upon this sister right here, this Moabitess sister that cut her own self off from her people. Like Yahweh did with Abraham, get ye out of your country and get ye away from your kindreds. And I'm about to take you to a whole new place. And look what it says further. Watch this. This Naomi became nurse to this young baby. And the women, her neighbors, gave it a name, saying there is a son born to Naomi, and they called his name Obed. This wasn't the son of Ruth. This was the son of Naomi. And Ruth ain't had no problem with it. Look what it says. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. Look at that. Look how just a simple old Yah-fearing handmaid that just lives in nothing but pure righteousness. This is what Yahweh said, humility comes before honor. But humility is one of the hardest things to do. To have a baby and to let everybody in the city sing that this is Naomi's baby. But I had that baby. I buried that baby for 9 months. But no, everybody said that's Naomi's. And Ruth, she was a Yah-fearing, humble woman. Had nothing wrong with it at all. And she always called herself in the third person, I'm thy handmaid. Hallelujah. Now let's go to the book of Genesis, the 29th chapter. I want you to see something very peculiar, very beautiful. See, we are in the land of our captivity, and we've been lost from the old paths. This is why Yahweh said, ask for the old paths. Ask for it. And then I will teach you. I will show you. But a lot of us don't want to be taught, and we don't want to be shown. We don't want to hear the words of the Almighty. We don't want him to inspire us. We're not really truly concerned about what he has to say. And this is why I told the people that one of the 10 sacrifices that Yahweh is well pleased with is the sacrifice of the knowledge of Elohim. You must be concerned. You must be listening in every day. What are you doing? Keep listening. Keep learning, and you're going to find inspiration. Genesis, the 29th chapter, look what it says. The first verse, Yaakov went on his journey, came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered. And they rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. Jacob said unto them, my brethren, whence be ye? They said, of Haran are we. And he said unto them, know ye Laban of Nahor? They said, we know him. And he said unto them, is he well? They said, he is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep. And he said, lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, we cannot until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. She was keeping the sheep. And it came to pass, when Yaakov saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Yaakov went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flocks of Laban, his mother's brother. And Yaakov kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Yaakov told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And if y'all know who Rebekah is, Rebekah is one of the greatest women you can ever read about in these scriptures. Her story is astonishing. Her testimony is astonishing. And we're going to read it. Look what it says. 14th verse. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. A whole month, he just with him. No agreements. No contracts, nothing. And Laban said unto Yaakov, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? He been serving for a whole month because he wasn't there just chilling. Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah. The name of the younger was Rachel. Raquel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Raquel was beautiful and well-favored. Yaakov loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And let's skip on down. The 25th verse, and it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? Laban said, it must not be done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. And Yaakov did so and fulfilled her week and gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. And look what happens. Laban, as a wedding gift, as a gift that now my daughter is about to be a wife, Laban gave to Rachel, his daughter, Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. And why? Why would a father want to do such a thing? The first thing that she gets in her going into womanhood, not a house, not a car. He gave her handmaid to be a maid to her. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 years also. And I skipped the 24th verse because he beguiled Yaakov first with Leah. The 24th verse reads, Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for an handmaid. These were his maids. They said, man, my daughter's going off to be a wife now, so I'm going to give her a handmaid. She must have one. Why? Because now her responsibilities is about to increase. Rachel, you're going off to be a woman now. My gift to you, here is one of my maids to be your handmaid. This was a part of our culture. And why? Look at the book of Ecclesiastes, the 1st chapter. And that's what Ruth was. She was a handmaid. This is what Hannah was, a handmaid. And these handmaids, through their fear of Yah and servitude, became very, very great women. In the book of Ecclesiastes, the 1st chapter, it says in the 8th verse, all things are full of labor. All things. And we don't even realize how in depth these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words really are. All things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. Because when you thought you heard it all and seen it all, you'll realize that, man, you will never see it all, and you will never hear it all. And at the end of the day, all things are full of labor. It takes labor to live. It takes labor to be. It takes labor just to get up out the bed and get dressed and go prepare food for you, your children, your husband. Then clean up, get them dressed. Get ready for the day. It ain't no telling what you got to do when you leave the house. But it's full of labor in all things. And a lot of times we just don't consider how much labor it is in just the most simplest thing. Make me a bowl of oatmeal. Well, making a bowl of oatmeal might be very simple, but I got to go down the stairs to the kitchen, go back up the stairs. Just that, you don't even realize. So making a bowl of oatmeal ain't just so simple now. Because it's the in-betweens that you didn't even consider, did you? Now, if we can all just snap and make things happen, it'll be another thing. But no, there's a lot of labor into life. And this is why this wise man said, I want you to have a handmaid. Because I don't want you to get overwhelmed and stressed out. I want you to be in a comfortable state where you got some help all the time. All the time. Here go handmaid. And this is what the handmaids do. They help you all the time. Not sometimes. All the time. And they're around. Right there. Ready to help you. Now look. Let's go back to Genesis, the 29th chapter, so you can see the great wisdom Actually, go to Genesis, the 30th chapter. Verse 1 reads, when Rachel saw that she bare Yaakov no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Yaakov, give me children or else I die. Yaakov's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, am I Elohim in his stead, who has withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, well, behold, my maid, Bilhah. Go into her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. See, they understood this. This is my maid. And I'm sure she talked to her. And, listen, I want you to do this for me. That you're my maid. And she did this thing for her. But she asked her husband to do it. I want you to take my maid. The 4th verse, and she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. And Yaakov went in unto her. And now this handmaid has become just a little bit more than just a regular old handmaid. Now, because now she's Yaakov's wife. But she's still Rachel's handmaid. But as the scriptures put it, she's an heir to her mistress. And a lot of times it don't go right. But what you'll see throughout this story, unlike Hagar, Rachel's handmaid feared the Almighty Yah. She had a better spirit upon her. And when she bare these children, they had no strife in between them. Look what it says. Behold, Bilhah conceived and bare Yaakov a son. And Rachel said, Elohim has judged me, has also heard my voice, and has given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. She named the boy and everything. She said, this is my son. And now she had confidence on her shoulders now, because this is my maid. And now she done had me a son. And now my team over here is starting to increase. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again and bare Yaakov a second son. And you see how it still called her Rachel's maid. This is because Bilhah became Yaakov's wife. It didn't change the fact you still Rachel's maid. This is a very humble place, but it's a very blessed place. We want to be blessed, but we don't want to be humble. And Yahweh is trying to shine a light to you now. If you ain't humble, at the end of the day, you're not going to be blessed. Period. So you might as well get humble. Look what it says. And Rachel said, with great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali, because she felt like, now I'm prevailing. Now I'm winning. Why? Because your handmaids is having sons? Yes. These is my handmaids. This is my sons. Yahweh's blessing me through them. And he was. Because she the one gave Bilhah to Yaakov. She the one took that measure. She didn't have to, but she did. And when Leah saw that she had left barren, she already done had 4 out of her own womb, but she left barren. Then she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her to Yaakov to wife. And this is her handmaid, of course. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Yaakov a son. And Leah said, a troop cometh. You thought it was over for me, but now a troop is coming. And she called his name Gad. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Yaakov a second son. And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And so they looked at these sons, even these my handmaid, but they looked at these as my sons. Yes, that's still your son. You the mother. But you're mine too. You're my maid. And as you can see, it was nothing but love and blessings with these relationships. These women were able to be happy because their maids were humble. Their maids was honored to do these things, because if they wasn't honored, you would see the wrestling. You would see the strife. You would see the despise that you seen between Hagar and Sarah. But no, you see bountifulness. You see fruitfulness. And you see Rachel, even in her barrenness, she's happy now. You see Leah, even when she became barren, now she's still happy. Because these handmaids obviously feared the Almighty Yah. They didn't want no bad blood with these sisters. It was an honor to be with Yaakov. And you know they had to fear Yah because Yahweh took these handmaids to be the mothers that Yahweh used to bring forth his great holy sons, the 12 tribes of Israel. Now ask yourself, do you want to be a son of a handmaid? Like the brother in Psalms 86, verse 16. Like the brother said in Psalms 116, verse 16. He said, I'm your servant, even the son of thine handmaid. And ask yourself, do you want to be a son of a handmaid? Well, I'll tell you now. If I can be a son of one of these handmaids, that's what I want to be. If I can be a son of Ruth, if I can be a son of Hannah, like Samuel, if I can be one of these sons, we have more handmaids to bring to you in a book. Go with me to the book of 1 Samuel, the 25th chapter. In the book of Psalms, you can look it up. Yahweh said he taketh the solitary, and if I'm not mistaken, before I read this Psalms, in this 1 Samuel, I believe is in Psalm 68. Well, Yahweh said he taketh the solitary. Yes, Psalm 68, verse 5. He's a father of the fatherless. He's a judge of the widows. This is who he is Elohim in his holy habitation. Elohim setteth the solitary in families, and bringeth out those which are bound with chains. See, he will put you into a family. This is what he do. If he's with you, he will put you in a place you need to be in. And look what this is. In 1 Samuel, the 25th chapter, the first verse says, Samuel died. let's skip on down. Well, we don't have to skip that much because it says, and Samuel died in the first verse. All the Israelites were gathered together and lamented him and buried him in his house at Ramah. And David arose and went down to the wilderness of Paran. And there was a man in Moab whose possessions were in Carmel, and the man was very great. And he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding. Skip right on past the man. She was a woman of good understanding and of a beautiful countenance, but the man, he was churlish and evil in his doings, and he was of the house of Caleb. He was a churlish man. He was evil in his doings. He was a very selfish man. He only thought about himself. And what we want to do is skip down to verse 24. And David is on his way to kill Nabal and anything that pisses against the wall, because this man Nabal is wicked and selfish. He's been protecting his riches out in the fields. And all he asks is, man, we out here hungry and thirsty. We just want something to eat. Sent my servants to get something to eat, something to drink. And if it weren't for us, half your riches probably be gone by now. But nobody wanted to touch your things and touch your possessions, because we've been out here as a wall protecting it. They didn't even want to come over here because they know we over here. And we can't even get something to drink and something to eat. We didn't ask for no money. No, this guy, and so David was hot. And look what happened. In the 23rd verse, it says, and when Abigail saw David, she hastened and lighted off the ass and fell before David on her face, and bowed herself to the ground and fell at his feet. There's that relationship with the feet. And said, upon me, my master, upon me let this iniquity be. And let thine handmaid, I pray thee, speak in thy audience, and hear the words of thy handmaid. Let not my master, I pray thee, regard this man of Belial, even Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, thine handmaid, saw not the young men of my master whom thou didst send, because if I would have seen them, I would have never treated them like that. I know who you are, David. Read this story. She knows David. You a Yah-fearing servant. You fight the battles of Yah, and Yahweh is going to promote you. You are the king. And she know all these things about David because she's a woman of good understanding. And you can't have good understanding unless you fear Yah. And she told you who she is. She said, let thine handmaid. So she's a handmaid that fears Yah. And at the end of the day, let's close out with this. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. In the book of Proverbs, the 8th chapter, we're going to close out here. Look what it says. in the 11th verse of Proverbs, the 8th chapter. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared unto it. And you know what it says about a virtuous woman? Her price is far above rubies. Wisdom is better than rubies. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. The fear of Yah is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, the evil way, the forward mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine, sound wisdom. I am understanding. So when this woman Abigail says she's of good understanding, she possessed wisdom. This spirit of I'm a handmaid, this was the spirit. Look what it says. I have strength. By me kings reign. Princes decree justice. By me princes rule and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. Riches and honor are with me, durable riches and righteousness. Now watch this peculiarness, what it says in the 22nd verse. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning. Here. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there was no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not even made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest parts of the dust of the world, when he prepared the heavens, I was there. See, when you look at handmaids in the scriptures, when they serve, they always an extra hand. They always there. You don't have to call and say, where you at? I need you. No, they always there. From sun up to sun down. And when you're going down, okay, it's cool. Well, I'm about to go down too. And she was there. She said she was there. In the 27th verse, when he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depths, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree that the water should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth, then was I by him as one brought up with him. And I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable parts of his earth. And my delights were with the sons of men. That's wisdom. This is who she is. And she's letting you know that
60 seconds.
She was with Yah in the beginning of his works. Before he even made everything, she was with him. And yes, people, I went through all this rendezvous. I went through all this to show you that wisdom is Yah's handmaid. And the spirit that these handmaids that feared Yah, they had this spirit. Because Yahweh allowed this spirit to be upon them. And she says that her delights is in the sons of men. Now therefore hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my ways. Told you, you got to be looking at Yah's handmaid.
10
if you
seconds.
want to learn how to be someone that Yahweh delights in. Get you a handmaid. Only way you're going to have you a handmaid is that handmaid know how to do things the way you want it done, need it done, when, how. Ain't nobody about to have no handmaid that's clumsy, late, sleeping, lousy, drowsy. That ain't the kind of handmaid anybody wants. Especially Yahweh. He wants the best handmaid. The one that's going to please him in the most perfect and best way. And so, yes, looking at these handmaids in the scriptures, they will exemplify the spirit of wisdom, the spirit of Yahweh's handmaid. And yes, all the servants, even myself, not only I'm a servant, I'm a son of Yahweh's handmaid. Not only the son of wisdom, the son of Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, all these handmaids. So yes, as ye of the old paths, for this is where the good way is, the humble way, the ways of humility. And with that being said, we still have more to bring to you. Now we're going to show you wisdom. For she is the handmaid of Yah. That's his handmaid. Wisdom. And Yahweh said, no wisdom, closing out in the same chapter, Proverbs 8:33, hear instruction and be wise, refuse it not. Blessed is the man that hears me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. For so whoever findeth me finds life and obtains favor of Yah, because I'm the one that got it. I'm the one that Yahweh delights in. I'm the spirit. And if you want to be favored by Yah, you're going to have to watch me. You're going to have to look in my windows and see how it's done. And her windows is right here. So praise the mighty Yah, for Yahweh is righteous, Yahweh is holy, and let Yahweh be magnified. Yahweh loves you, and so do I. Shalom, shalom.
Yeah. Live free. Come on. Fourth tribe. For 100 centuries. Yeah. Let's go. Take a look at my soul. Nothing left but these hoes. They tried to take me down, but Yah is in control. So now I ask you, you suddenly black too. The oppressor ain't fair when he attacked you. Started wars cause they tried to tax you. You should be asking who they was taxing. Now what prices on our backs, and the IRS wanted in on the back end. Lincoln was never down for emancipation, just good political relations to try to make a good case for the next election. Yet Jim Crow came right back in the field, certified with a government seal. Crowley tried to stand up with zeal. Sadly, he thought that Jesus was real. They gave us them fake moves and education to keep us concealed.
Take a look at my soul. All I wanna do is go. There's nothing left of me, of this horrid slavery. For 100 centuries, there's nothing left for you to hold. All I want to be is with my Yah and live free.
Come on. For 100 centuries of this horrid slavery. But Yah, he is the king, and he will save me. So now I ask you, will you drop to your knees and beg Yah, please? Don't you know that Yah is coming? It's like tomorrow. I can't even tell you the time on your Audemars. Just guard your heart, baby Paul, baby dog. Don't cry. Paparazzi never cared about them tears. No way. Just fear my Yah all day. Rest in him, just like the song say. I'm waiting for the day that he sit on the throne. Till then I'm stuck in my zone, staying focused on the day when he finally take us home. Till then I'm prophesying to the dry bones. Till that day that I'm gone and Yah reveal what he has shown. That Yahweh is Elohim, is him and none alone.
Take a look at my soul. All I wanna do is go. There's nothing left of me, of this horrid slavery. For 100 centuries, nothing left for you to hold. All I want to be is with my Yah and live free. All I want to be is with my Yah and live free. All I want to be is with my Yah and live free. All I want to be is with my Yah and live free. All I want to be is with my Yah and live free. Live free. Yeah. Take a look at my soul. All I wanna do is go. There's nothing left of me, of this horrid slavery. 400 centuries left for you to hold. All I want to be is with my Yah